You're listening to Side Hustle Pro, the podcast that teaches you to build and grow a side hustle from passion project to profitable business. And I'm your host, Nikayla Matthews. So let's get started. Hey guys, welcome back. This is episode 25 of Side Hustle Pro, and this is Nikayla back again with a solo episode. So you guys know, like every couple episodes, I like to check in and give you an update on my own side hustle journey. And so today I want to talk about overwhelm, because lately I've been feeling really just overwhelmed, y'all. And I had my moments where I just couldn't push through it, had that writer's block, everything blocked, but I've recently been able to push through because of the mindset that I've adopted. So let me share that with you. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw a quote that I recently posted, and I actually don't know where this quote came from. I saved it a few or several months ago. I have no idea where I saw it, but, so shout out to whoever created it. It says, "You're not going to master the rest of your life in one day. Just relax, master the day, then just keep doing that every day." And for me, that was it was everything for me. It was so clutch this week because I found myself getting into this phase of wrapping up the year, starting to feel that pressure, like, oh crap, like 2016 is ending. Did I do everything I said I wanted to do? Have I laid the groundwork for everything I said I wanted to do before 2017? And the answer is no. The answer is no. When you're ambitious and you have a lot of different ideas, sometimes you just don't get to them all. And of course, I want to work on that and get better at it, but the fact of the matter is 2016 didn't master that. 2016 have ideas that, you know what, I probably won't get to before January 1st. And instead of feeling overwhelmed by it, the first stage of pushing past that overwhelming feeling is to just accept it, to accept that, hey, things are not going to go as the same way as I pictured it in my head a few months back, but here's what I can do. Here's how I can recalculate, and here's how we're going to make sure that, we don't keep running into this situation every month, every week in 2017. And the first way that I'm doing that personally is focusing on mastering the day, focusing on setting goals that are realistic. I have been sticking to the 1 to 2 things a day that I talked about. If you follow my Instagram stories, I talked about a few months back, like just scaling back that Asana work plan that I have, scaling back the calendar, saying no to people, not letting emails control my life. If you have emailed me, I am going to get back to you before the year is over, but just know that email is actually one of those things that is the first thing to stress you out. Like when your inbox starts to pile up. And for me, I'm a type A person. I used to feel like I can't rest until my inbox is definitely below 50. And in an ideal world, I loved when it was like in the 20s, but that's just not realistic for me anymore. And learning to deal with that and not be overwhelmed by like the bold unread messages has been huge. Understanding that I will get back to the email at some point, and I'll be gracious. I'll let people know why I haven't gotten back to the email, but I will not let my inbox, intimidate me anymore. The second thing is moving past perfection paralysis. So something else that I've talked about in my Facebook group and on Instagram is that I was working on, and I still am working on my first digital product. And by digital product, I mean an e-guide or mini e-course where I'll share with you. In this case, the first guide that I'm working on is an Instagram specific one, because I've truly been able to build my brand and amass an engaged audience via Instagram. But I've had a bit of perfection paralysis just because there's so many guides out there, and I always want to make sure I'm differentiating myself. And also I want to make sure it's not coming off as a money play, because there are people out there who just want to put together some haphazard guide and get, your dollars so that they can therefore make X amount in a month and sell another guide to say, hey, I made X amount in a month. And it's just a play and a funnel that I don't want to be a part of. So trying to figure out how I can do it in an authentic way that's genuine and valuable to my audience has made me a little bit overthinking it and, analysis paralysis as well. And when I finally broke through and my mastermind group helped me with this, just talking with them about this and just realizing just that just the very nature of who I am, and people know who I am. And I think you guys, even if you haven't met me in person, you're starting to feel and understand who I am. Just the very nature of knowing that it's me. Like, people should realize that it's not anything like that. That is purely a thing of wanting to help people, to share exactly what I know and, how it's helped me. And of course, I'll put a price tag on it because it will take time. It will take resources. And if you put time and resources into something, you should charge for your time, just as a general side hustle principle. But it will be something that is, that matches the value that I'm providing. So I was able to push through that finally, working through the e-guide, and really excited about what I have planned, purchasing a domain name, figuring out the platform that I want to use, and then recording the videos. It's really exciting, guys. And in addition to the e-guide, my other main focus before the year is out is to learn more about the world of e-commerce, online stores. For example, my own store, the Side Hustle Pro Shop that I run via Shopify and Printful. This has been a true learning curve for me because I kind of stumbled into the world of e-commerce and t-shirt and apparel sales very innocently. I created a shirt for myself to wear to conferences, to brand and to promote the Side Hustle Pro podcast. And people were like, I want one of those. Where can I get one of those? So I threw up a quick Teespring shop, but Teespring, it makes you do these campaigns that end every 3 weeks, and it was super annoying. So I took some time to rethink and reevaluate, hey, do I really want to make this a thing? And then I decided, yes, this is absolutely something that I should be pursuing. So as with anything that I want to learn more about with the podcast, I devoured all things podcasts to get this started. So with the product line, I have been devouring all things e-commerce. I joined a Facebook group. It's called Brand Build Sell with Arsha Jones. And Arsha will actually be in the guest chair future episode to talk more about this world of e-commerce. But yeah, in Arsha's group, it has been really informative, you guys. If you are interested in selling physical products, this has been a group where I've learned how to print t-shirts and how, the pros and cons of different distribution and fulfillment platforms, the pros and cons of Shopify, Etsy, everything, PayPal, the pros and cons of that. If you are interested in doing anything e-commerce, I highly suggest you explore the resources that are out there. There's so many resources out there. And I think sometimes, I say this generally, but I'll say, okay, me and Nikayla, sometimes we think, oh man, I've gotten to a place. I know what I need to know. I'm a marketer. I'm X title. And we think that it looks bad for us to need to take a course, right? Like, oh, I should know everything. I brand myself as a social media savvy, like a social marketer, a social strategist, don't want anyone to know I'm taking this course. False, negative. Like, these platforms are changing every day. And it doesn't mean that you're not good because you're taking a course. It means you're committed to staying good. And so for me, that's been doing things like joining Arsha's course. Just tonight, I was on a webinar with Arsha and Lamar Tyler, and they had a whole webinar about Facebook advertising. And so although I do Facebook advertising for my job and for Side Hustle Pro blog, doing Facebook targeting for website traffic and for views and different objectives, it's a completely different ballgame than doing Facebook advertising for conversions, for website to sale conversions. And so it was awesome to hear the perspective and the targeting methodology for people who have made 5 figures a month from Facebook advertising or 6 figures even from Facebook advertising. So that's something that I've been really pursuing. I'm super excited because I'm about to have my first ever Black Friday sale this Black Friday. And that involves me actually going to Target on a late night run last night to pick up some white foam board to figure out how to do flat lays at like 7 a.m. this morning. It was really interesting, and I felt really scrappy and really resourceful to do my first flat lays. Flat lays, when people like style and arrange different products in a way that looks really organized, great, clean on Instagram, because I will be doing some advertising for my Side Hustle Pro shop. And I felt really scrappy. I also learned a bit, and every step I take will get me to be more experienced in this world and be able to build that out as a real revenue arm. So for 2017, I'm actually targeting 5 different revenue streams, and I won't mention them all now because I plan to, similar to, I'm in the midst of the e-commerce revenue stream right now. So I'm happy to talk about that. But with everything else, I want to be able to say, hey guys, here's what I've started. Here's what, I'm projected to make, or even if I don't get into specific numbers, I can say this revenue stream is up and running. Here's what I've learned. Here's how I've gotten it up and running. And you guys know that as soon as I learn something, I turn right back around and I share it with you. To give you an example, if you haven't already, if you go to my website and the website for this podcast, sidehustlepro.co, there I share all the resources I use to launch a podcast. There I also share the cold email templates that I've used and refined over time that work like a charm when I'm reaching out to strangers on the internet. And same thing with my Side Hustle Pro shop. As you know, as soon as I get this 4 or 5 figure income stream a month popping, I will be on this podcast sharing everything I learned. And in addition, I can't wait to have Arsha in the guest chair because she will be sharing all that she has learned as well. So in addition to just learning to take things one day at a time, learning to not let my inbox control me and just mastering the day instead of trying to master my life in one day, I think that the biggest thing that I'm learning and that's helping me to push through overwhelm is to ask for help and to let people know what you're struggling with and frustrated about. For me, that's definitely been one of the key places I've been able to tap into that is with my mastermind group. And those are the women that I meet with monthly. But then within the Side Hustle Pro mastermind group on Facebook also, I've been able to share when I'm overwhelmed and how I was feeling overwhelmed earlier this week. It's some place that I hope that you will feel comfortable coming to and sharing the different challenges that you're going through in your business. If you want to join us there, it's just sidehustlepro.co/mastermind. And when I say ask for help, in particular, some of you know that I am getting married next year, or I don't know if I actually shared that, but if you follow me on Instagram, I think you know. And so I'm getting married next year. And one of the areas that I definitely need help with is wedding planning, because it's really hard to have a full-time job, a side hustle, and then plan a wedding, which feels like a whole other job. So one way I've asked for help is through getting a planner, also reaching out to friends for their guidance, other brides for their guidance, because there are just so many decisions that you need to make. And it's hard to shift gears from making a decision in your full-time job to getting a call about a photography quote or a videography quote or catering quotes. So all of these decisions need to be made all around the same time. And so asking for help and being able to say, hey, I need some outside opinions because this is too much has been very helpful. And of course, Moyo is also helpful with the wedding planning stuff, but it's still a lot of decisions that need to be made even when you have a planner. So that's just something personally for me that I can definitely say has contributed to my overwhelm, but I'm trying to manage it by working with my planner, going through the planning schedule one step one weekend month at a time, because this is a joyous occasion. That's what we always tell each other anyway. And so with that, guys, I really just want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Yes, I'm recording this right in Thanksgiving week. And although there are things that make me feel overwhelmed, I'm still overall just taking a moment to just really sit back and think about how much I have to be thankful for. I don't think we haven't spoken since the election. And so for most of us, it was a very rocky day, the day after the election. And still, it's something that we're all just kind of trying to wrap our heads around. And I am thankful for just the people and the conversations I've been able to have, the candor, the commitment to openness and inclusiveness that a lot of orgs have shown, and, made statements to share that they're committed to this. I've seen a really great, I always think that for every bad thing in the world and how easy it is to focus on that, like what you focus on grows. So I just try to focus on the positive. And so going into Thanksgiving week, although the theme of this episode is overwhelm, I just want to remind us all that we all have so much to be thankful for. Wherever you are listening to this podcast, chances are you're safe, you're warm, you will have food today. And these are things that I know I can speak for myself in saying that I take it for granted all too much. So wherever you are listening to this, I just want to say, give thanks. I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for everyone who's listened to this podcast. And together, we can get through this feeling of overwhelm. We can get through anything in, the future. Like our ancestors got through things, and we'll get through it together. So with that, in the spirit of Thanksgiving, I leave you with all the gratitude and all the appreciation in the world. Thank you, guys. Hey, guys. Thanks for listening to Side Hustle Pro. If you want to hear more from me, head on over to sidehustlepro.co/Side Hustle Corner to get my weekly Side Hustle Diaries chronicles about my own journey from passion project to profitable business. And if you want to find me online, I'm at Side Hustle Pro on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Don't forget to join the Side Hustle Pro Facebook community. Go to sidehustlepro.co/mastermind. And as always, if you love the show, do me a favor and subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. Thanks, guys. Talk to you next week.